will do that. $55.48. That is a really good marathon time. Ready to go? Okay, cool. So, like I said, this is the 2013 remake of Rise of the Triad. This game costs $15, and you're going to see very quickly why. Like the other game, we're going to play as Lorelei because she's the fastest, and once again, she has the lowest health value. And an important thing I'm going to mention right off the bat with this game is I'm playing in offline mode, because if you play in online mode, there's arbitrary load times that attach to, like, searching for high scores or whatever. So you always want to play in offline mode. And also you see this continue thing here, right here. Anytime I beat a level and go to this screen again, I'm going to click that area before continue appears, and it's going to treat it like I actually click continue, because it's a well-programmed game. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and get this started in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So yeah, this game is a little more modern. If you were upset by the lack of glitches in Rise of the Triad, the original, you are going to get more than enough in this one. Like the other game, this has rocket jumping. It's significantly more useful in this game. Other than doing skips, it lets you go through levels really fast. And this first level is just, like I said, get to the end. So, I should mention off the bat, there are a lot of glitches that can happen in this game that are not beneficial to the game or the run whatsoever. Hopefully we never see any of them.
I do bad things to bad.
But, a lot of this is just skipping stuff by rocket jumping. We're gonna skip that. That basically skips us having to get the first key in the level. And with this game, the split missile is actually really useful because single rockets do, you know, just your ordinary rocket jump, but if you have two rockets simultaneously, it doubles your rocket jump height. Well, not completely doubles, but it gives you more height and it's noticeable. So, this is very useful for a couple of different things. We have to kill 3 enemies here to open up this gate. This game also has a knife function that does more than cut nets, but it's really buggy and does not work half the time. Also, if you're offended by words like fuck, shit, or asshole, please turn away from this game and, I don't know, watch something else, because there's a lot of cussing. This is the first level here where we're going to go out of bounds, by the way. And we need the double rocket split missile to do that. Rocket jumping in this game, by the way, is really awkwardly implemented, so there's a good chance it might not work. There we go, got it. We're out of bounds, just like that. This is one of the trickier rocket jumps in the game. So we're going to set ourselves up sideways here, make this jump, and do it again here. Alright, sweet. I'm going to save here just for safety in case I screw this up, because that's possible. Like that. Spoke too soon. Alright, we want to jump up here. This lets us get the key. Normally we have to do a lot of climbing and then hit a switch to drop the key, but we can just pick it up because it's there and we're out of bounds. So yeah, that level, just, you're done with it very quickly. Also, when you go out of bounds, you miss a lot of things that load assets into the level. So light sources, textures, and other things just disappear because they're not there to begin with. It's kind of cool. So one thing I will say, though, it's really good about this game is it has music that's similar to the original, but they're rearrangements of the original songs done by a man by the name of Andrew Hultschult, who, at this point, you might recognize that name because he's done quite a few projects, but this was like kind of his first real professional thing he did. And it's probably the best thing about the game, and unfortunately, because this game has really bad audio balancing, you can barely hear the music. But all the things that make Rise of the Triad super cool are in this game. There's traps, but they're significantly worse. For example, the spiral blades will spin you uncontrollably, and it's really annoying. And the flame traps, their active damage frames do not immediately happen when the flame comes out, and they do not disappear immediately when the flame disappears. So, you know, good stuff. Alright, so we hit the switch from the other side. This just saves a little bit of level traversing. And we're gonna just rocket jump straight to the end. So now we're on the first boss fight. We got here much faster than the other game, that's for sure. This is Darien. Darien is much different than he is in the other fight, though. This fight actually does take a bit of thought processing to do. Because the first phase is pretty easy. The second phase is a little bit risky, because if you're not careful, you can actually die. But casually, I think this is the best boss in the game. It's actually really cool. But one other thing about this game is it introduces secondary firing modes, which is not in the original Rise of the Triad. And the secondary firing mode of the firewall right there is it shoots this like needler-esque weapon, and that's super useful for the first phase. I'm gonna be a little careful here. Because this phase he shoots rockets, and those can actually kill you like instantly if you're not careful. I should also mention you have to be careful because if you die at any of these phases of this boss fight, you have to do the whole thing over. Because quick saving does not work on the boss levels. Which is kind of interesting. I'm not sure if that was intentional or if it's a result of just not being able to code it properly. Quick saving and quick loading, by the way, were implemented in the third patch of this game, not the release patch whatsoever. And they're very, very buggy. There are places you cannot quick save and quick load, and quick saving and quick loading can have some weird effects on the game. By the way, I'm just manipulating the boss here just so he can stand still and I can just shoot him. Super cool. But, yeah, so you'll see that more in the upcoming episodes than anything.
That's gonna hurt.
And I mentioned that the previous game runs on modified Wolfenstein engine, so it's coded and held together by Band-Aids. This game is held together by yarn and office tape, so... But it's also a labor of love. Shoutouts to the guys who made it. Even if it's not the most well-programmed game, it is fun, and you can definitely see that the people who made this game really liked Rise of the Triad. Just, it's a very amateur project, but it's okay. It's a $15 game. So now we're going on to episode 2.
Yeah.
And this is where you get to use the drunk missile, which is a super useful weapon for rocket jumping. The rocket jumps with this thing are super iffy, though. So it's kind of bittersweet. Alright, but there's a lot more out of bounds from this point on in the game. And one other thing that sucks about the quick saving and quick loading... Oh, shoot. Is, in some out of bounds sections of the game, if you quick save and quick load out of them, for whatever reason, there's like these arbitrary collision boxes, parts of the, like parts of the walls or whatever that are really weird. I don't really know why that happens, but so a lot of times for certain out of bounds we don't actually want to quick save and quick load. So if we screw them up, we have to do the whole level over. What? Oh, okay. Whew. I'm gonna cook that real quick. I need some health. Oh yeah, you get Excalibat a lot earlier on in this run. Excalibat's super cool in this game. But yeah, as you can see, I've skipped a lot of parts of the level, so various assets haven't loaded. This is supposed to be a barrel where that switch is attached to, but it doesn't exist. Take a shortcut here. And we're at the exit. Woohoo! Alright. So now we're on to the room. So in the original Rise of the Triad, the room is a really, really cool level, casually. In the remake of this game, it is one of the most unenjoyable experiences in the entire game, because it's a lot of platforming that's super awkward. So thank goodness, there have been a number of ways people have found to skip this room, or the room, I should say. And this is the one that continues to work on this current patch of the game. If I can get it right, of course. That's important. Hello. Hello, fellow gamers. I'm Ripchip. Let me get out of here. Please? 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 Okay, I'm gonna have to restart the map because I'm stuck. That kind of sucks. I'm gonna lose a lot of time because of it, but there's literally nothing I can do. So, and I can't quick save and quick load beforehand, otherwise the collision on that door gets screwed up and I can't skip it. So
let's get the hell out of here.
that kind of sucks, but what are you gonna do? It's better than doing the other level. Like the main level used to be a huge run killer when I was routing this before I knew about the skips. Please let me get through. Not again. God damn it. Alright, there we go. So that's cool. So yeah, we skipped the entire level by doing that. Very convenient because this level's awful. Alright. But we're not done breaking this episode yet. We have only begun. Oh, wow. I didn't get any height from that. Like I said, rocket jumps in this game can be very iffy. Alright, so I mentioned that quick saving was implemented in the 3rd patch of the game. This trick is a little bit risky, so I'm going to quick save. Oh, I accidentally quick loaded. Oh, what do you know? The wall doesn't exist anymore. And because of that, we get the key, and also a lot of stuff doesn't load into this room. That's very convenient, because we can now go straight to the end. And there we go. End of the level. My bat was stolen, but it's not important because I don't need the Excalibat. Alright. And there's this really, really stupid glitch in this game. Where, by the way, we're going to do the same thing we just did there again. Because if we quick save and quick load here, it activates this spike wall. Normally we're supposed to hit a bunch of switches to do that, but whatever. But there's this dumb glitch in the game where if you pick up a drunk missile without full ammo, normally you're supposed to get full ammo when you pick up a weapon, or when you pick up the same weapon, but for whatever reason this doesn't do that. Like, I had 4 rockets in my gun, I picked up another one, and it proceeded to give me 25 ammo instead of 40. He stole mine, but that's not a big deal, I don't need it. Alrighty. So yeah, this part's pretty straightforward, nothing terribly exciting. For the longest time, this is the level of the game we were trying to solve, like trying to find glitches for. And for the longest time, there was nothing. There was like minor shortcuts you could take, but there were no major glitches, so the quick save wasn't even like the big one. Like, that one was fairly like one of the more recent things as far as tech for this game goes. But the big one is coming up in this upcoming room. So we're gonna just rocket jump here because it's a little faster than waiting on an elevator.
Holy shit!
Alright, I'm gonna pick up this key, jump back up. We're gonna get high. Alright. Normally when you do Shrimps mode on higher graphics settings, things change color too, but we're on the lowest graphics settings because we want to have a really high FPS for one particular thing. And normally we're supposed to get 2 keys to activate 2 switches to open this up, but if you get 1 key and hit that switch multiple times, it just opens the door for you. Alrighty, so now we're coming to the end of episode 2. And it's time for the second boss, Sebastian Doyle Christ. This boss fight is like the easiest fight in the game, but it can sometimes just not work. Like a lot of things in this game don't.
Die in a fire, motherfucker.
Alrighty, so what we need to do first is get Chris to shoot these shield generators. There's 3 of them, sometimes he can just miss. Sometimes he'll shoot it and it won't blow them up anyways. Alright, that's good so far. Come on. Any second now, buddy. Oh no, yeah, this is the firebomb. This weapon absolutely decimates bosses. Alright, so now we've uncovered his hidden ketchup factory. That's really dumb. Alright. Hello? Thank you. And we need to make sure we get that drunk missile at the end of this fight.
No time
Yeah, and we decided that Chris likes ketchup so much that we're just gonna drown him in it. Alrighty, so now we're on episode 3. Like the original, this is where robots get introduced into the game. Robots are not much of a threat in this game at all. As a matter of fact, we're gonna have barely any contact with them. Because like episode 2, episode 3 is pretty broken, there's a lot of dumb things we can do. And one of those dumb things is that we can sometimes die in that room. I always quick save in that room because there is a really small chance that the game will just kill you and I don't know why. It's hilarious, but it's also the dumbest thing ever. Alright, I'm gonna get this right here just for safety. One other thing you might have noticed, my loads are really slow. That's a thing that happens, unfortunately. Load times are very inconsistent to begin with. But, I also don't have an SSD, so... You know, I'm going to always lose time because of that. And there is no load remover, so no matter how well I play, I'm never going to have world record because the load time differences are very inconsistent. So if anybody ever wants to make a load remover for this game, be my guest, please. It would be great. I might actually like this game. Alright, so I gotta be careful. My health is extremely low.
Holy shit!
But... There we go. Down and over. This is a cool level. This one's pretty straightforward. There's not a whole lot going here. There's a lot of rocket jumping I'll do. There's one huge time saver at the end of the level, but most of it's just rocket jumping to convenient locations. Oh my god, that's unfortunate. Alright. Alright, so we're just going to take... Oh my... Okay, I guess I'm not going to jump, that's fine. But one thing that's nice about the knife is it locks onto enemies from way far away sometimes. It has an easier time locking onto them from far away than up close, which is kind of strange, but... that allows us to jump across gaps to get to the enemies. Also, I'm currently playing on the most recent patch of the game. The world record uses 1.4, which is almost entirely the same thing. So it's really not an issue if you use 1.5 to run this game. I would not recommend running it on anything lower than that because there is some skips in the earlier versions that are more broken. However, it comes at the cost of the game being significantly more unstable. So it's definitely not something I would recommend. So we're going to take these jump pads across. The lava can be really annoying because sometimes you'll just get stuck in it. And now we're coming on to an elevator ride. Elevator rides are very long and very boring. But we do get the elevator music. You know what? Fuck this. Alright, I'm just going to quick save and quick load, and we're just going to go for a ride. Let's just clip through the elevator and go straight to the end. Alright, this is dead in 5 seconds. I'm gonna make the same joke I made last game and say that it's possible to die in 3. So, very misleading name. This level's really broken. You're gonna see in hopefully a matter of seconds why. Alright, we're just gonna use this light here for some leverage, and immediately we're out of bounds, and we can basically cover the entire map. We're going to be a little careful. There's no light sources on the outer part of this, so it makes getting through the out-of-bounds section a little tricky. Because if I fall, there's no kill trigger in the pit, so you'll just fall infinitely. But yeah, that got through this one. This is Clear and Present Dangers. I want to share a fun story about this level when I first played this game casually. When I first played the game, on the I think it was 1.1 was when I got to this point in the game. Because I released a patch pretty early on for the game because it was very, very unplayable on release. This section right here is jump pads I have to ride to get to the other side. When I played the game casually, these jump pads did not take me to the other side, so I could not finish this level until later on in my life. This game has some really weird stuff going on, though. This is also the one level that the only level that has swimming. It's kind of clunky, so I'm glad it's the only one. But we're gonna do some power-up shenanigans here. Alright? Alright, just roll with me on this one. Alright, so we're flying. That's pretty cool. Flying is awesome. I wish I could fly. I believe I can fly. But what if I told you you could fly and also be a dog at the same time, and this allows you to go out of bounds and basically go straight to the end of the level. I will say, if you want to speedrun this game, I recommend that you have a lot of patience, because this game is... It is, and that's all I'm going to say. Alright, so we're at the end. We have to hit these two switches to activate the exit. And boom. So, you might have remembered that enemy in the previous game was kind of a difficult boss. And normally he is on this one too. Casually, this boss is actually really hard. And it's mostly because he's just extremely unfair. But because we know where the firebomb is in this map, he's not as hard to deal with, and hopefully we kill him relatively quickly. So we're gonna lure enemy over here, kind of manipulating him really, so that he comes over here. We're gonna jump up here, do as much damage as we can with the firebomb, and hopefully not kill ourselves in the process. And this is gonna put enemy in a position where he's gonna start firing off rockets. And in that position, he will stay in there and none of his rockets will be able to hit me, so... You know. Super cool stuff. Alrighty, so we're done with episode 3, now we're on to episode 4. And right off the bat, we're gonna do some out of bounds, but these are... This level has probably the hardest out-of-bounds trick in the entire game. You'll notice I have the drunk missile. This has 2 firing modes. One of them fires a cluster of 5 rockets, which lets you go really high, and the other one is an automatic rocket launcher. So we're going to combine both of those things here, hopefully. And we're going to scale up the wall out of bounds. That trick is extremely difficult. I cannot stress that enough. So the fact that I got it first try is amazing. Everyone, please give me some love in the chat. Alrighty, and we're also just going to be able to go straight around that. So fun fact about that, by the way, that gate requires the silver key. You can just rocket jump over it normally anyways, but we go out of bounds, and we just go around the gate instead of over it, so either way you can skip that gate. Alright, I'm gonna be careful here. I'm gonna go out of the window of opportunity there. And we're out of bounds immediately again. There's a couple different routes that can happen here. Hopefully I get the fast one. I didn't, that's fine. It's not a big deal. I'm just gonna have to do this a little slower now. Normally what you wanna do is go all the way over there with a rocket jump. Hello? I just hit something and it sent me completely off course. Radical. But yeah, you would want to go over there and then you'd be able to go through a window and go straight to the exit. Unfortunately, I didn't get it, and like I've said before, there's really weird properties with going out of bounds and quick saving and quick loading. So we would not be able to do that skip anymore if we tried to do it again. So we have to do this a slower route, which is fine. It's still cool, it's still glitchy. Y'all still like it either way, so... Oh no, I missed the cycle. That's fine. Probably gonna go overestimate on this run, and that's totally fine, because I don't care about this run as much as the other one. This one's just more for fun than anything. Alright, so we're already at the end. And in this room, you want to activate 4 switches to lower that little door right there, so you can get to the exit. But that's boring. And now we're on Backfire. This is pretty tame compared to the rest of the levels we've seen so far. There's no, like, real glitches on this level,
End of the line,
which is more than I can say for most of this game. And we're gonna go ahead and turn into a dog right off the bat again, just by rocket jumping to it. And this is just gonna let us get through the level faster. Alrighty. So we're also gonna make a sidetrack to get the drunk missile here, because we're gonna need it for the next level. Alright, and we're through. Platforming and like running really fast with a dog can be really, really difficult, because you're so low to the ground and you move so quickly, it's really hard to do anything. Alrighty, and this is all to get this one key, which is at the beginning, by the way, but there's an invisible wall there that prevents you from getting to it, and a message from the devs that say it's not that easy, bud, which is kind of cute. Alright, so coming up is the last real level of the game. It's not the final level, there's one more boss fight after this. But there's two different keys we have to get. We're not going to get them the way they're intended, obviously. That's amateur stuff. We're just gonna rocket jump straight up here. Normally we have to go through several rooms and kill a bunch of enemies to get to that. But who has got time for that? And now we're gonna do the same thing here, but it's significantly less consistent and way less fun. And yeah, this rocket jump sucks. It's the hardest one in the game. Well, no, this isn't the hardest one. It's the least consistent, I should say. The hardest one was in the first level of this episode. But yeah, we got it pretty quickly, which is nice. And that just skips out. That skips a lot. That skips a ton of platforming we have to do. So now we gotta fight this mini-boss to end the level. So we're just gonna steal this firebomb here. It's gonna do most of our dirty work for us. Also, you need to be careful when you fight this boss, because there's a lot of little like holes in the wall, and all of the holes in the wall you can actually go out of bounds, and it's ridiculous. So now we're on the final boss of the game, and the reason why we want to have high frame rate is specifically for this fight. You see I have the dark staff. This is basically a lightning gun. And the ammo of this gun is tied to my frame rate. So if I have a higher frame rate, I can use more ammo and ultimately do more damage. So this run is basically pay to win. But if you tried to cap the frame rate at like 60 or whatever, this boss fight takes forever. So it's kind of stupid to do that.
This isn't even my final form.
Alrighty, so dated memes aside, we're now on the final phase of this fight.
All right.
We're gonna fight El Oscuro.
Now you will see me as I truly am.
Alrighty. So we just want to do a lot of damage to El Oscuro. Which we can do a lot of it with the firebomb by itself.
Die in a fire, motherfucker.
Oh, shoot. We gotta be careful though, because those larvae can get thrown at us and it'll do an insane amount of damage. Time's coming up. And time. Alrighty. And that was the remake of the Rise of the Triad. As you can tell, it was a very different game than the previous one, and that's fine, because, you know, sometimes things are being different are good. Sometimes they're fun, sometimes it's this game. But, so what was my time on that? I'm very curious, because I feel like I went overestimate. I went underestimate? Oh man, I'm such a god. That gives me time to do something real quick. I'm sorry, I gotta show you guys this stuff. So, there's actually two ways this game can end, and one I got here, like the other game, in the original, if you don't kill all the larvae, all of his larvae come back 50 years later and destroy the entire world instead of you saving it. Now in this game, if you just beat the boss, you get the ending and that's it. But there's another way this level can end. 2731. God, I'm so good at this friggin' game. 2730. I don't believe that. I'm sorry. That's like a minute off or like almost 2 minutes over my PB, and I played horribly, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, that's the alternative ending.
Oh man, I'm glad I'm sitting here.
Yeah, you can blow up Los Angeles. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the Rise of the Triad Power Hour. I had a lot of fun doing it. I was actually really worried the runs were gonna go worse because these games can be very iffy. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Enjoy the rest of Shots Fired. Don't forget to follow, and I also want to give one